Dani, let's help everyone find their magic today. So welcome to What Lights Us Up.
Thank you so much for having me, Christina. I'm so excited to be here.
I love the energy. So, we all want to achieve big goals. You want the dream job, the big house, the family, the soul partner, the love of our life. Like, how do we get those, right? And you help people find the magic in their life to help them achieve those goals. What inspired your journey to help people find their own magic?
Okay, so I love this question because a lot of times we teach what we work through, right? Or what is that saying where it's like you teach what you heal through. So oftentimes that thing that is like you're looking for and you're seeking and you're striving like your whole life to find, you realize, oh my gosh, I've done all this work to get to this point, and now this is something I can share with the world because there's likely someone else like you who also has that drive or that desire. And so for me, it was really wanting to live successfully. And that was it for me. I wanted to be successful. And so it was a lot of perspective shifts to redefine what success means to me, separate from what the societal identity of what success was, right? Which is like you get married, you have kids, you have a really good job, you make a lot of money, you buy a house, like all those things, right? That was like the stereotypical, and that was something that I was on track for with all my friends, and it was almost not like a competition, but we would, I did end up buying a house when I was 26, and it was like year after year, one of my friends bought another house, one of my other friends bought a house, and then I noticed that I was just so unfulfilled in my career. And all the other aspects I felt were, I was fine, I was thriving, I felt like I was thriving, but I could never make over like 60,000 or something, and I was never so happy. I would like actually dread going into work. And so that was like what inspired my journey of like personal development, because I got a life coach. And then from there, I listened to podcasts, and I just kept following that thread of curiosity. And that ended up leading me to Reiki, spiritual awakening, Akashic records. And now that's where I'm at as an empowerment coach, helping other people reprogram their subconscious thoughts, patterns, and behaviors so that they can really attract what they desire and be free of any limiting beliefs and conditionings that might be holding them back.
So you followed what lights you up.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. So let's dig into, how did you discover your gift? Because for everyone listening, you are a soul reader, you do soul readings, you also help people heal their energy, right? What is it like to do a soul reading? Like what is a soul reading, and what is it like to do it?
Yes. Okay. So let me start with saying that everything is energy. And so when you understand that fundamental concept of like, what is it? Quantum physics. Like everything is energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just is. And every living organic organism is created from energy. And so when we understand that foundation, you can start tapping into what energy is. And I feel like this was a huge pivotal point to understanding what my gifts are. I had a best friend, I still have she's my best friend, Chelsea. She was a naturally born psychic. So I had someone in my world who I knew and perceived as psychic. And my perception of it was you have to be naturally born, and everyone else doesn't have that gift. And when I started tapping into Reiki energy, I got a couple readings and it really lit me up. And I was like, wow, like I don't know what this is, but they're tapping into something that knows who I am inside, that things that I don't tell other people, somehow they have access to this information. And so I got my Reiki level 1, 2, 3 master. I did that within 6 months, and I really started understanding and creating the foundation of what energy is. Energy healing, the vibration of everything, even the chair. You could tune into the energy of your chair. This is so weird, right? But you can tune in and see its history. Who owned it before you? Where was the wood made? Wood is organic, right? And so it's like all these things I was like accumulating in my mind, and it was really awesome because how things come into my life is through awareness. So someone on a podcast had said something about the word Akashic records. And at the same time, one of my tenants that I was managing properties for brought a book that said Akashic Records. And then there was like one more within a week. And I'd never heard this word in my life. So I was like, there's something to this that I'm meant to know. And so I was on Instagram and I booked a reading from this random girl I never met, never followed. And she was like, you're supposed to open your records. I had no idea what the records were. I was like, I just know I'm supposed to open this thing. And
what are they?
Yes, so the Akashic Records are the records of all souls that ever existed, past, present, future. It is your soul blueprint. And it is such a beautiful space, multi-dimensional space where all the universal wisdom exists. So any question you have in the entirety of what you could ever think of, the answer is in there. And it's often not the answer that you would think. And so how I found my gifts is by just following that thread of curiosity and understanding that I always had actually this deep knowing. You know, that like, oh, I have that gut response. Like, I just have this feeling that like I shouldn't be going there, or I shouldn't go to this party, or, you know, that's not going to serve me. And I learned now that that's claircognizance and clairsentience, right? Feeling and knowing. And that is actually a gift. And before I was just like, I would just listen to that inner voice, you know, in me. And now I'm able to project it in a way that when I read someone, I tap into their soul frequency, I guess I will describe it. And from that space, I can extract information by asking questions. And so when I ask these questions, I get that knowing. And now I'm using, you know, all my clairs after being in this space for 3-4 years now. I'm able to access all of them because when you really focus on one, they all begin to expand. And so that is how I access information for my clients. I tap into this multidimensional energy space and I ask questions and I trust myself to receive them. However, whether I hear them, I know them, I feel them, or I see them.
And so did you train yourself like what that feeling feels like? So every time you're sort of like answering or pulling someone's, you know, answers from their soul, you know what feeling, it's like a recognizable feeling.
Yes, so this is really cool. And over time, I've been able to create my own dictionary of feelings and what I hear and what I know. And there's often a lot of repetitive themes that us humans are like experiencing, lessons, cycles that we are meant to overcome to understand ourselves more, because that's the point of reincarnation, right? To like understand ourselves, explore, bring joy, curiosity, just really understand consciousness expanded, and we are part of that collective consciousness. And so now when I tap into someone, I will right away have this feeling, and it might have been a similar feeling of what I felt maybe 3 clients ago, and it's like this pattern's coming back and it's them. So it's like exploring and over repetition, really understanding the energy and what you are feeling really helps. So practice. It's like a muscle, right? Like if you go to the gym and you're trying to do bicep curls, you're probably only do like 5 if you're doing 10 pounds, or at least me. But like over time, right? Like I could probably do like 15, you know, and I could do like 20 of them. It's kind of like that. Like I can get like one message maybe in the beginning, and now it's like, oh, it's just coming, because my muscle is like so wide. I've trained that muscle every day.
So all of us have gotten gut feelings. I think everyone can resonate with that, right? And some of us don't really know the definition of intuition per se, but we know we have a gut feeling about something, or in hindsight, we're like, okay, we had a feeling about that, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Can anyone train or learn how to read their own intuition?
Absolutely, 100%. Every single one of you can can tap into that energy, yes.
So how can we do that? I know you mentioned a little bit, you tap into it, you get, maybe it's one feeling and then you start to read the patterns, right?
So there's several ways, and honestly the first way is to get someone to train you. Like that's how you can quantum leap, right? Because your soul already knows everything, but as humans we have these like conceptualizations of what reality is. And so when we tap into the Akashic Records, a lot of people know it as like the galactic library, right? We call it a library, where when you go up there, we conceptualize, like I pull your book of love, right? And it's like, that's just a conceptualization, actually often limits us from the information that can be provided. And so you can literally just place the intention on your heart space, close your eyes, meditate, and be like, please allow me to enter the Akashic Records. And then you're there. and then you begin to ask questions. But there's a lot of, if you're not familiar with energy, or if you're not familiar with a lot of the like what you're feeling and the sensations, and you haven't expanded that, like that expansion of your clairs and all the things, getting a teacher is really helpful to help you validate what you're seeing and what you're reading.
And I do believe in signs. You talked about that, sort of getting, the book that's at Akasha Records, or seeing a certain repeating time on the clock. Like I see 11 all the time. 11's all the time on the clock, right? And so then I always look up like spiritual meeting of this number, or spiritual meeting, lately my pattern is everything's breaking. My bracelet, my doorknob, endless things for like the past month or two. And I'm sure you could tell me what that means. But how can reading the signs help us find the magic? Because I think there is some magic in that.
Absolutely. So for me, when you're seeing signs, you are bringing conscious awareness to that present moment. So you are focusing on this sign that's in front of you. You are being reflective. You're reflecting upon yourself. There's a lesson here. So that's already reprogramming your perspective, your subconscious, into, instead of like, oh, this is broken. Oh no, like why is this happening to me, victim, right? Or oh no, there's so many things happening, like everything's wrong in my world. Like, oh, that's one perspective. But bringing that magic, right, and seeing that magic and that angel number, or this lesson of all these things breaking, there's something more that's available to me. Let me reflect on it for a moment and be like, oh wow, I'm getting a sign that there's something more. This is a lesson for me to do X, Y, Z. Or I'm releasing an old identity of who I was, and by allowing myself to be reflective in this moment, I am shifting my perspective and my identity, and that's the gift. That's my lesson. And so I really think seeing angels numbers and seeing this magic and really bringing it into your conscious awareness presences you more, and like raises your vibration, your frequency, and your level of consciousness.
So when we think it's a sign, we should reflect and think, what was I just thinking about at that moment?
Not necessarily what were you thinking about in that moment, but maybe what the sign that came through, the 1111, you can either, what was I focusing on, and then seeing, is there a lesson in that, or is it kind of just like a sign that I'm on the right path? And over time, when you feel into that, I feel it into my heart and my chest area. Usually if it's like something beautiful, I'll just feel light and I'll feel happy, and I'm like, oh, I'm so supported, and it's like, it's so joyful. And then if there's a lesson, I might feel like a little contractual, and I'll be like, okay, what is the lesson? What I'm meant to be, learning, something like that.
I love that. So kind of feeling aware in our body, how it feels, same like intuition. So what do you think breaking things means?
I think breaking is like death and rebirth. So it's like stepping into a new identity, new level of consciousness, new perspective. You're leaving behind some things and you're moving forward. Another thing could be like your house is rejecting you. I don't think that's this. I don't think that's that, but there's so many things.
So you talked about our soul having a path, a predestined path, or it's been reincarnated. Do you believe that karma can carry in a soul from one lifetime to another, and how do you feel it can affect our present life?
So there's this book that's been recommended to me 3 times that literally talks about this. It's called like Many Lives, Many something, but it's a psychotherapist who was treating this woman with depression and anxiety for like years. I don't know, have you read it?
I have not.
And he started giving her hypnotherapy. Until she started going into past lives, was she able to heal? And so I'll give you the book so you could put it in your show notes. But I haven't read it myself, but 3 people have already described this book to me in the last week. So I'm like, okay, I gotta look into it. But yes, I do believe karma carries from lifetime to lifetime. And when I used to perceive karma, I used to perceive it as like, I did something bad, so something bad is going to happen to me. And if I do something good will happen to me. I don't perceive that anymore after accessing the records. Karma is a tool in order for us to expand and see something in a different light. And if we choose not to see the karma as a lesson or a gift, then we will stay in that karmic cycle. And so until we decide to offer ourselves love and compassion and, for the cycle that we're in, not have judgment for these things, then we can really move beyond it. And so karma I believe, helps us evolve into who we want to be. And someone told this to me the other day, where our soul, let's say, wants to learn itself more, right? That's what the soul wants. It just wants to explore, learn, and all the things. And let's say you chose, like I chose family. So all things family, I'm going to be the mom, the dad, the son, the daughter. I'm going to be the dog. In every lifetime, I'm going to be something different. And then I'm going to choose all the families, divorced, together, bi, heterosexual, like all the things. And I'm going to just try, and I'm going to have all the dynamics, like parents were killed, parents are together, like all the dynamics of family. And it's just that your consciousness just happens to be in the one that you're in now, and that's the one you're experiencing.
So interesting. So what if, because I think people can resonate with this, a situation doesn't go our way and we fail to see the gift in a situation disappointing us, a relationship not going our way, we didn't get the job we wanted. And I think it's really hard to turn that around into a gift. And I know our soul is meant to sort of learn lessons so it can sort of graduate each lifetime, right? Because it wants to get closer to source. It was the book Journey of the Soul is my favorite. And it talks about that, the journey of the soul. So how can we see the gift when we're sort of apprehensive?
The first thing I want to say is that you have so much support in this lifetime, and that's not something I knew in the beginning. I didn't get this job at actually the city of Manhattan Beach, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go to find another job. And I just thought I had to figure all this out. I had to do it all. I had to, be the one person to like intellectually, cerebrally do this. And what I learned was when I surrendered to that, and I'm like, okay, I don't have this job, I want to find another job. I ended up getting the job. They ended up calling me like 6 months later, and I ended up working there. But all that to say is you can call, if you have this awareness and you're listening to this podcast now, you have support around you that you can ask for help. So if it's challenging to see, like you really wanted this job, but for some reason you did not get it, ask support. Ask, hey, spirit guides, higher self, a grandma that passed away, whoever like you feel like is around you. I don't understand what's going on right now, and I'm misaligned with where I see my life going. And this is a really beautiful tool. You can do a visualization, you could do a journaling, prompt, and asking like, where am I supposed to go? Like, what am I meant to be doing here? And these are all the bigger questions that I was asking myself. Like, why am I not happy in my career? Like I find joy in small moments, but I'm not like innately fulfilled. Happiness was very fleeting. And so when I began to ask these bigger questions was when I was led to my actual divine path, which I thought I was going to be, in the finance department at the city of Manhattan Beach. That was my job, my career. And instead, it's no, you're meant to be an empowerment coach, an Akashic Records reader, and like a spiritual mentor and advisor. I would have never known, if I hadn't had those like misalignments along the way.
I love that. It's hard. It's hard to see, to turn it around and think, okay, maybe this is a gift, or maybe this is a lesson, or maybe this is what I should be doing. And talking about a little bit about karma, but also our soul's destiny. The Journey of the Souls also talks about this, how our souls are part of a group, and we have assigned souls that are sort of helping us, just like spirit guides, but they actually reincarnate with us. And they play these actors in a play where they sort of show up in our life at certain times when we need them. And I've had this happen. I know I've told you this story, how I probably have unconsciously have some soulmates as well, like family members. And then I've met consciously a soulmate who I had no interest in doing any videos, even for the podcast. I had no interest. And I met this person, and he was actually a former podcast guest, and he did video and traveled. And I was so intrigued by what he did, and I just wanted to follow him around, and I had voices speaking to me, like, learn this. And we did a couple adventures together where I watched him film, and then I started doing filming with cooking and travel, and it's really lit me up. And I realized it's what lights me up. And so I do believe meeting people, if we want to call them soulmates, soul contracts, will help us find the magic in our life and help us find what lights us up if we're feeling lost. Because I didn't know I was interested in that. How do you think we can recognize these soulmates?
That's so beautiful, and for you to see it that way as well, like this person meant to really show me what lights me up. And I think it goes a lot of ways, and I think already just having the awareness that people in your life are reincarnating around you for a reason is like the first step. And I often do think as well, like my friends, I always am so inspired by them, or if they do something, I'm like, wow, or like the way they talk even, you know, like I'm thinking of my old college roommate, Kat, in college. Like I was always inspired. She was always so like intellectual the way she would talk. And it's so interesting because like later on I would tell her all these like beautiful things, and she's like, well, you know, you're always this and this and this. And it's like accepting that there's someone in your life that is so inspiring, but also knowing that you are too, and you're inspiring other people. And it's like we are all here just co-creating life together.
I do believe that people come into our path when they're meant to. Like I'll say, if I don't get a certain podcast guest that I've reached out to, they're not meant to be in my path at this time. And then maybe later on they reach out, or we're supposed to cross paths or do something. And so I do believe all of these people that I have on this podcast are helping me follow what lights me up, to follow my path. And I think the goal is, I think we all want to achieve things that we want in our life. We want more purpose, we want more happiness. And I've gotten this a lot. I've gotten friends that ask me, like, what is manifesting? Like, what's the point?
Yes.
I'm curious to hear your
Yes.
thoughts.
Okay. I love this. Okay. So this is something I've been tapping into more recently, is the quantum realm. What is the quantum realm? The quantum realm is everything and nothing. It exists, everything that we desire beyond our even awareness. And from an energetic standpoint, the quantum realm exists within us, outside of us, all around us. It encompasses the Akashic records. It just is. And so when we go back to that fundamental belief that everything exists, or energy is everything. Everything is energy. It's understanding that every single thing holds an energetic frequency. And I see it as when you become of a certain frequency. So let's say I used to get sick all the time. In college, I would have like literally a tissue box in my arms because I was just always sick. I was in misalignment. I had no conscious awareness. I would literally put my, like at the store, the grocery store basket, like in the middle of the aisle. Like no one else existed. Like I had not, like it was bad, right? So it was challenging for me to attract or manifest the things I desired at that point in my life. Now that my energy vibration is so much stronger because of the work I've done, I'm in alignment, I'm in love with myself, I am fulfilled, and I am on path and in purpose and in my own definition of successful. And so with that, I now understand that, let's say, what am I attracting right now? Ooh, I'm getting married in September. This has been a really cool manifestation practice and experiment that I've been doing. Everyone says wedding planning is hard, and you can create decision fatigue, and it can be really challenging with like literally millions of vendors. What I've been doing is every week, this happened with my venue, I was like, okay, it was on like a Monday. Please, I'm manifesting my venue, I'm calling it in. I feel the venue that's meant for me. I don't have to choose it, it's coming towards me. I feel into the energy, and I almost put like this energetic cord to it, and I begin to call it forward. And I asked my guides, please support me, please put it in front of me. Within 5 days, we booked our venue. It came into my awareness, and it was there. This also happened with my the restaurant that we just picked, as well as a photographer. So this has happened. I'm playing with this manifestation technique and understanding that it's not just me who has to like call this in or make a decision. Like I actually only have to do 50% of the work. Same with like a soulmate or like the love of your life. You're only doing 50% of the work. The other half is like the universe, him, the venue, you know, all these things. And when you understand that concept and are co-creating with the universe, that's how you're able to attract these things. And then in terms of manifestation, it's like attracts like. So as you increase your vibration, your frequency, you're able to attract more things that are aligned for you, that are for your highest good, that bring you joy and fulfillment because you are at a level of fulfillment within yourself already and in your auric field.
I do believe following what lights us up helps us manifest. And they do say build your self-worth as well. And I consciously and unconsciously, I manifested this house. Finding this house, I mean, it was 7 years ago, but I manifested this house. And I made a list. I didn't know I was manifesting it. My friends like, make a list, everything you want. So I made a list. I was getting kicked out of my old place because the owners were moving back in. Made a list. I went on these ads. I was crying. I'm like, these landlords are slumlords. I have to move out. Where am I? I'm not going to find a place that's as good as the one I'm in. And then I went to see a place, and the landlord called me the next day and said, hey, I know you didn't like this one, but I just had one come available. It's not listed. Would you like to go see it? She said, it's a little bit more. And I said, okay, sure, I'll go see it. And I brought my friend with me. We came to this house, and my friend, we walked up the stairs to the front door, and my friend was like, if you don't take this house, I am going to take it, and I'm going to come and sit in your living room window all day and stare at the view. Like, I had fireplace, I had ocean view, I had need to have and would like to have, and it was everything on the list. But then there are times where, and maybe it's a belief thing, where like you really want that job or you really want that relationship, but it doesn't manifest.
What I have noticed is the more you do the work and you align more to those energies of joy, fulfillment, surrender, aligned action, the more things will fall into your lap. And with my journey as well, like if I had even planned this wedding 2 years ago, there would have been a lot more resistance. I would have felt there was this hotel for the hotel blocks, and I was like, this is the one. And I was like almost forcing it a couple weeks ago, and I had to take a step back, and I was like, I don't think this is the hotel for me. And I just did a Google search, and then we found our hotel within seconds. So it's like, old me though would have been like trying to force things, and when you force things that are not in alignment to you, for you, that's when there's like a mismatch of things happening. And so when you surrender more to that co-creation energy, things will be more divinely guided according to your timeline.
And do some things enter our life and then leave? Like jobs, houses, something that we might really love, and then all of a sudden it's taken from us without, like talk about things breaking, or you have a piece of jewelry, you lost it, like your heirloom jewelry, and you lose it, or you're supposed to take that trip and it doesn't end up working out, or you're in that relationship and you really saw marriage but it didn't really work out.
I really believe if it misses you, it's not for your highest good. Nothing that is meant for you, if we talk about predestination or predestined experiences, if something is meant for you, it will absolutely find you. And there's this thing of like, if we wanted this one thing, this one job or this one house, and it doesn't work out, maybe you're meant to like learn the experience of what you're meant to learn, and then something better will always come along. And if something worse comes first, the lesson has not been found or discovered, and then something better will happen. During the pandemic, I had a one-way trip to Spain, and I was going to live out there for a few months, and I was still with my ex-boyfriend, and then the pandemic hit, and all my plans got canceled, and we were forced to stay in the house for months on end. And that's when we decided to break up, and not 1 month later, I met my current fiance. And so if I had gone to Spain, I would not have broken up with that person, and I would not have met my fiance. So there's so many things that had to happen for us to meet, and it wasn't what I wanted. I had a one-way trip over to Spain. I was gonna live in Europe. Being stuck in a house in Manhattan Beach was nice as well, but not the same level.
Or it served its purpose. I find sometimes it's like if it's a jewelry or a house or something, it served its purpose, and then
for jewelry and energy, or like in house for sure, like if you lose a jewelry, like the frequency might be off, or like you're meant to find it later, because it's like a reminder of something. Yes, definitely that's more, I think, more of a frequency thing.
I've had a bracelet break twice, literally, so who knows. But what has brought you the most joy in this whole journey? You have a podcast called Magic Exists, right? And
yes.
You are also an energy healer. You work with people, you do soul readings, you're a coach. What's brought you the most joy?
What has been bringing me the most joy recently is my Grid Worker series. So we are in LA and we both experienced people very close to us that we know losing their homes and literally our city on fire. And we're all grieving, and we're all experiencing holding space, providing, all the things. And I'm not sure, I haven't connected with you if you know anyone who lost their houses. I got lucky. My grandparents just came back this weekend into their home actually, but it's safe. My parents went back already. My aunt and uncle already went back, so we're all safe. But what I was doing during that time, as I felt very disempowered, because I was like, this feels so out of control. Like, what can I do? And I connected energetically to the frequency of wind. And actually, the frequency of wind is so joyful. And the only reason I don't like it is because it's scary, because we have built houses in its way. If you really think about it, it's nature. And so when I felt into the energy of the wind, it wasn't malicious that it was causing these fires, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna tune into the energy of Mother Earth. Let me tap into this energy. Like, what's going on? And she just wanted love. With all this happening, there was so much collective grief. And so I channeled divine energy into the land. And so what I'm doing now is helping people connect to that part of them that understands ritual and connection and, cultivation of relationship with Mother Nature. And how it really starts is with your physical vessel, really understanding that you are a bridge to the cosmic galactic energies and the earth, Mother Earth's energy. And how does that start, right? It's like having gratitude for your physical body, the human that you are. And so that's what's really lighting me up right now, really understanding that we are all multidimensional beings. We are human, but can I also access the records and tap in and allow them to make the decisions for me for my wedding so I don't have to be fatigued? Yes. Like, can I manifest these wonderful vendors that are aligned for my wedding and have the vision that I want without being stressed? Yes. But I also have, I need to eat, I need to nourish my body, I need to, do all the things. And so it's tapping into all the energies of my life. When I go on a walk outside, I want to be able to heal the land. So I activated my Earth Star chakra, which is the chakra underneath the soles of your feet, so that every step I take, I'm intentionally healing Mother Earth. And how beautiful is that? How empowering is that? That, despite all this heartbreak that was happening around me, I decided to tap in where I could help, and that was in energy.
And it helps create connection and community, because that's how I think we all feel connected. I think it's this podcast. When I travel, I want to feel connected and in a community, and in our city, when it's just been so much turmoil, it's helped really. I volunteered. I went to a concert last night, the benefit concert, and really you just feel this sense of community. Like, everyone just wants to help, and everyone wants to, and that's incredible. It's so beautiful that you can help people.
Thank you. And I think that's one really beautiful side effect of this whole experience, is the community is so supportive. I think it's been so beautiful bringing people together.
I love that. So how can someone find their path if they're feeling lost, and really more joy, more purpose? What do you hope for our listeners?
Yes. So oftentimes I would say it's tapping into the energies of the sacral chakra. So that is pleasure, joy, and creativity. If you can do one of those things a week, one thing that brings you joy, one thing that brings you pleasure, and one thing that you create every week, I think that will help support and expand those things in your life. Because we are meant to be creators. We are meant to, whether that be like a mother or whether that be like food, we are meant to be creative. Joy is one of the highest frequencies that you can be aligned to. There's a frequency chart, I forget who made it, but joy is one of over 5,000 hertz. It's such a radiant energy, and when you tap into that energy more, it's like you are in that divine energy, that portal. And pleasure, of course, is the human body. That's gratitude. That's connecting to that part of you that is human innately.
I love that. I love that tip. That is such great advice. Joy, pleasure, and creativity. I love that. So where can everyone find you, follow you?
Yeah, so I live mainly on Instagram at I am Dani Margeaux. It's spelled Margeaux. I am also on YouTube, the same thing, I am Dani Margeaux. I have a website, www.iamdanimargeaux.com. I am also on TikTok, and I do also have a podcast, which you are going to be on soon, called The Magic Exists.
Awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait for our conversation. It'll be so fun. I can't wait.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming on. This was a beautiful conversation.
Thank you so much, Christina.